The Hat Trick Hockey Podcast is brought to you in part by Claro Media, helping businesses and personal brands alike grow and thrive in the digital world. Whether it's sports, events, real estate, and more, Claro Media has your back. Contact today by emailing info@claromedia.ca or follow and send a message on Instagram at Claro Media. That's CLARO.media. What's going on, all you beauts and beauties? Welcome to the Hat Trick Hockey Podcast, brought to you by GL
Whoa.
Heritage, the official brewery of the HTH podcast. I am your host, Brett Hedges, alongside the creator of the show, Anthony Gaudet. Hi,
Uh,
Tony, Tony,
yeah.
Tony, Tony.
So,
Welcome.
what a weekend, long weekend.
Absolutely. It
What
was
is,
a good weekend, though.
yeah, it was an okay weekend. Super Bowl. We just got done with Super Bowl.
Yes, the Philadelphia
Game.
Eagles.
Oh,
Congratulations. Yeah.
fuck, no spit, no lube there. Holy crow. It was
From the
just a
from the
beat
from
down.
Yeah, from the coin toss. They won the opening flip and it was game on from there. They exchanged possessions in the first quarter, but when Philly got their second crack at the can, they
Oh,
scored and it was after that their defense just locked it all down and it was
oh.
a new champ. It was refreshing to see because I think 99% of the world were cheering against the Chiefs last night.
Oh yeah, it was like that episode of the frickin' Simpsons there where the one kid was getting beat up, like stop, and he's still
He is
just pumping him.
already
You
dead.
can't beat him up anymore. It was pretty
I
much like that.
I love using that meme in like any group chats anytime there's like a beatdown going on. I
Yeah,
send it in your group in the group chat quite a bit whenever I see some lopsided scores in the PJHL.
yeah.
But especially if it's like 7 or 8-1 after the first or second
Oh,
period or something like that.
oh yeah. But
But yeah, you know what? One thing I will say, Sidney Brown, the guy who's Canadian, he's from London, Ontario. He
mhm,
plays safety for the Philadelphia Eagles and he won the championship. He won the Super Bowl for them. And his
mhm,
twin brother, Chase Brown, they both played together in London, under JP Cercelli, who now coaches at the University of Windsor, I believe, that they played for him. Um, Chase, the twin brother, he plays running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. So
oh
this
wow.
year they played against each other in a game for the first time, with not first time not being teammates their whole life. They played against each other, and then Sydney wins the Super Bowl as
Hmm.
a Canadian. So that's really cool. So who knows, man? Maybe that guy should come back home and have a parade in London. I'll ask my buddy Pat about that. Patty,
Yeah.
love you, buddy.
That's awesome though.
No, it's cool. It's good to mix things up, and like you said, like that defense, or like I said, the defense just absolutely crushed them. So,
Wasn't even fair.
what was your favorite thing that you ate during the Super Bowl?
What did I like? My
What
favorite
did
thing
you
I
eat?
ate? We
Yeah.
just did the
Talked
normal
about
za.
everything.
Yeah, we did the normal za with the garlic strips and the wings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we went very traditional over here, shall I say. Why?
Good.
What did you end up doing?
Okay, so my nephew Tristan, his birthday is right after the Super Bowl, and my parents are going to go away to Florida. So my
Mm,
sister said, "Hey, let's have a Super Bowl and a birthday party at the same time." So we did that. She put on a great spread. She had like veggie pizza that you put on like flatbread. That
yeah.
was really good. She made wings. They made baked beans, which were really good. They made pulled pork. They had some coleslaw. I don't know if they made
Mm,
that, but it was really, really good. My mom made twice
mm.
baked potatoes.
Oh,
Those are
nice.
really tasty. Lots of dips, lots of finger foods, lots of things that you can eat and run around because there's lots of kids going on. It was a really good time.
When I was gonna say, when I stopped at your house the one Sunday there, you guys had the full spread going on there. I was like, holy shit. Your dad's like, here, eat, like throwing food at us.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
we
you
say we
guys,
love you. We just say have a plate.
yeah, yeah, it was like, I was like, damn. Um,
Yeah, anytime we're in Harrow having a birthday or anything like that,
mhm.
you guys are always welcome to come by. It's always fun.
Also
There's always a
too,
plate. Yeah, just it's always great getting the family together and having a good
mhm,
time and just
absolutely.
celebrating and stuff like that. And why not put together a Super Bowl and a birthday party at the same time? So seventh birthday, Tristan, my nephew, Tristan Barker, big
Mhm.
Spits fan, loves
Yeah,
Liam Greentree. That's his favorite player.
love it.
Anytime you want to get on his good graces, you just get him something hockey because he plays U8 travel now. He's on the travel team,
Oh,
and guess who's his coach? Dale Mitchell. of
Come
the
on.
Leamington Flyers. So
Love it.
yeah, so they're having a lot of fun. He's really getting into like the fun part of being on a team and like having buddies on the team and hanging
Mhm.
out and stuff. Yeah, so he's having a really good time with it, and
Love it.
it's fun to see.
Well, he's a savage too, like his dad. He's a big kid, isn't he?
He's
Nick's
a
a
big boy.
fucking that guy's a beast. Like he's huge. All those Barker boys are big boys. It's
Oh
like,
yeah. Like if whenever they got married, my sister Beth got married Nick Barker from Harrow, and his
mm,
brother is Jeff Barker, and Jeff
yeah,
is just as big, if
yeah.
not a little bigger than Nick. Like we all went and got fitted for suits, and like when I'm the smallest person out of the group by quite a bit, I think, yeah, there's another person that wasn't like as broad shouldered as I was, but like three or four of us in that group were like pretty big men. And like I felt bad for the tailor having to like stretch out these suits to try and fit our like shoulders and like our chests and stuff. Cause
Fuck.
they're the Barker boys, they're just big barrel chested boys. So
Yeah.
good guys. I know Jeff's a firefighter and does a
Hmm.
lot of stuff around the,
Hmm.
the
What a
community.
stash on the kid too, Jeff.
Beauty, and
Jesus.
Nick's growing
What
one
a
too. So
is
I don't
he?
know how we hit the over on the amount of times that we were saying Nick. I thought that we were going to say Nick and Jeff Barker's name on this podcast, but we'll
Yeah.
give them their flowers today
Yeah. Yeah. It's all
for
good.
sure. Beauty kid, happy birthday, Tristan.
Yeah.
Um, Lots of things going on in the world of hockey, my friend.
Hmm.
Obviously,
Hmm.
we're gonna take care of some OHL stuff. You and Tristan are gonna take care of some PJHL and NHL news on the back end because there's a lot of
Absolutely.
stuff to talk about in the news and a big story in the OHL right now. We're going to stick with the OHL.
Yeah.
Uh, is that a London Knights player was just charged with drunk driving after being found on at 3:20 in the morning on the outskirts of London, Ontario, after a single vehicle accident. 20-year-old defenseman Cam Allen was involved in a single vehicle crash on Colonel Talbot Road and Clayton Walk. So it's in between the two communities of Lambeth and Talbot. And
Hmm.
there's a lot of evidence of blood on the driver's side door. And then they found him, I guess, a little while later, just shortly after like they came upon the scene. And he's been charged with a whole handful of things. You guys can check it out on CBC News for the full
Yeah.
list of charges and stuff. But my main thing is I'm not one to punch on somebody when they're down. But this guy is lucky to be alive is my main thing. Like
Well, yeah.
he single vehicle crash that late in the morning. Obviously, there was alcohol involved based on the charges that are listed. And this is a NHL drafted kid, fifth round pick for Washington. Played for Guelph before being sent to
Hmm.
traded to London this year. Not a good look for this young man. And
No.
he's lucky that he wasn't really seriously hurt in this matter.
Well, yeah, or dead, one of the
Yeah.
two. Um, like we had kind of looked up and we said that there was like a bend or something there, right? So we think that he might have just like,
Yeah, it looked like the
yeah,
intersection that they're talking about. It looks like there's a T. There's a maybe it was a three-way stop or there was
yeah,
something maybe he missed a stop sign or he missed a turn
mhm,
or something and ended up in
yeah,
a one way there. But they said that there is evidence of alcohol present, and
yeah. So
they charged him with five different things. So
it's really
um,
unfortunate because
yeah,
like
I'm
not to
happy he's
mention, yeah,
alive.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like I'm glad he's okay and everything. And as crazy as it kind of sounds, like good thing it was only a single vehicle
Yeah,
wreck, you know what I mean? Like, what if someone's coming around the bend or something like that or whatever, and he
yeah.
hits somebody, you know? And especially if speed was a factor, alcohol's a factor, it's not a good look. Kind of sucks too that we're on the back half here for the Knights. It could be a little bit of, could maybe throw off the room a little bit of compared to what's going on. I don't know if he'll keep playing while he's doing the court process.
Hmm.
I would think he would. Um, the part that's good is he's still young enough to where he can correct this if he handles it right. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
takes the proper steps in order to fix this. Then I can't see him losing because, like we had already said, that he has not signed his entry level deal yet with
I
the
believe
Washington
not. I don't
Capitals.
believe he
So
has. Yeah.
if he hasn't, we had also talked about that they could say, okay, well, we're not going to sign you now based on what you've done down there in London or up there in London, I should say.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, it's not a good look, and I'm sure Dale Hunter's pissed. So
Yeah. The Knights did release a statement about obviously after this weekend because it
Mhm.
was Saturday morning that this all happened, Saturday,
Yeah.
February 8th. And so we're like a lot of these details have been, this has been quickly reported, but it has been vetted and everything like that. So the statement that the London Knights released, it says, "We understand that Cam takes this very matter very seriously and has assured us that he will fully cooperate with the court process." This is a
Mhm.
statement from General Manager Mark Hunter.
Yeah.
He released his statement on Sunday, February 9th. Cam understands the responsibility that comes with being a member of this organization and a representative of our community. That's all that CBC quoted on that one.
Mhm.
The OHL, it says in the next line, the OHL will determine if Allen will receive disciplinary action, the statement said, and Allen is scheduled to appear in court on March 6th.
I
So,
mean, if you're the league at this point, what do you do?
yeah, I mean, I mean, uh, there's a lot of ways that they could do this, right? It's a new commissioner. It's
Mhm.
not Branch
Well,
anymore.
you were gonna really see what he's about.
Yeah, so I can let's just verify
Okay,
this.
put yourself in the
Let me see if I can find a statement
commissioner's
from him.
put yourself in the commissioner's shoes. What do you
Yep.
what would you give him?
I would probably there's 17 games left, right? Or 17 or 18
Mm.
for um Windsor. I
Hmm.
mean, or 17 or 18, yeah. And registration underway. No, I can't find a statement as of right now about that from the commissioner, but we will report back on that when it times comes. He could go a different ways. He could suspend him indefinitely until he appears in court, which I don't think that he would do that. Um, it's over a month from
Hmm.
now, kind of a thing. They could do the team, I guess, could keep him out of the lineup or suspend him themselves,
Yeah.
like indefinitely or something like that, or 3 games, kind of try and get in front of it so that the league doesn't have to do that. I don't know if
Yeah.
uh if that would line up, but it's a situation where obviously I think he's gonna sit out a few games for breaking team rules, like they'll kind of frame it like that. Maybe he won't play this whole week, kind of a thing,
Hmm.
while the dust kind of settles. Um, the league, I'm sure they could. I'm not quite sure on the disciplinary action, like what the parameters of what they're allowed to do in terms of this, because I haven't
Yeah.
covered something like this in the OHL recently.
Hmm.
And especially with a new commissioner, he could go a bunch of different ways. He could go 3 game suspension, 5 game suspension, 10 game suspension, suspended indefinitely.
What would you do
Uh,
though?
I'd probably give him a five game suspension.
Does he have
Just like I don't
what?
know, I don't have a rhyme or a reason to it. It just sounds like a round number.
Yeah.
The kid's gonna be out for probably a week or two to get his mind right, kind of a thing. He already knows that he's got court and stuff. Like that's outside of hockey. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And so he's gonna have to deal with that when the time comes. Um,
I bet he gets longer.
yeah,
I'm
like
leaning
you think
on
like a
10.
10 to 12 maybe.
Just
I don't
because
know.
reason being is like you're the London Knights, everybody's looking at you.
Yep,
Not to mention you're well the top team in the league,
for sure. Yeah,
and you're supposed to be a good. You're supposed to represent the league, like we said,
yeah.
and stuff. And that's like, and the drunk driving something that they're not going to take lightly. Like
No,
I think they're gonna whack him here, dude.
yeah,
And hopefully, like I said before, I'm not shitting on the kid. He made a mistake. Okay, he fucked up. I
yeah.
get
We
it.
all
You
we
know what I
all
mean? I
know
get
someone
it.
who's
We're
made
all
mistakes.
fucking human here. Okay,
Yeah,
I get it. But like, it didn't help his cause. Like leaving the scene probably doesn't help. Like, just stay there, dude. Just
yeah.
you already know you're in shit, so you might as well just stay there. You would have got less, kind of. It would have, you know.
If I was his lawyer, I would say that he left the scene because it was inclement weather, kind of a thing, right? I
Yeah.
could understand why he would try and find somewhere to
Hmm.
heal up, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm
it's
glad he's okay, man. Like that's.
for sure, yeah. I could see like they charged him with a handful of things. I could see a couple of them getting dismissed or like pled down, kind of a thing. I don't know if
Mhm.
that how the Canadian law
Well,
system
hopefully
works.
this is a big like lesson learned here for him.
100%. Yeah. And like we said, talented player,
Hmm.
overage guy, 20-year-old. Uh fifth round draft pick from Capitals in 2023. Obviously, a bright future ahead of him, and I'm just glad he's alive,
Yeah, for
that
sure.
he's okay, and that this
For
wasn't a
sure.
tragedy,
For
right?
sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
do you have anything else on that, or would you like to move on to Windsor Spitfire news?
Let's move on.
Let's move on. In the past week of the OHL, obviously we just talked with you guys. We go week by week with you guys.
Mhm.
Uh, Coming off of our last show, we were talking about how Windsor had won a big game against London on a Sunday night,
Mhm.
kind of a primetime game, OHL hockey day, and one of the best rivalries in the whole country. And it was, a lot to think about. Like, there was a lot to look forward to with three home games in a row. Big gap in the division. You could chase down the number one seed with a good week this week, and then the Saginaw Spirit come into town and sting the Windsor Spitfires with a 6-3 loss. Michael
Ouch.
Miza and Igor Chernyshov show up in a big way. Zane Perek shows up when they need him, plays a really big game and comes up with a big assist. And, you know, it's hard to fault the Spits because Saginaw is really good. They have Miza and stuff,
Mhm.
but it's after a game that they won against London in the way that they did, the comeback fashion, definitely a disappointing result against Saginaw on that Wednesday.
Well, yeah, all that hard work, the train's rolling, everything, and then you go in and it's a pooper. You know what I mean? But it happens. It's a long season, and like just they seem to, as we're gonna like chat about the next two games, kind of flipped it right back around to where they were back in business. But
Yeah,
it's yeah, once in a while you're gonna lay an egg, man. It's gonna happen. But it
for sure.
seems to like they always struggle with them, eh?
Well, yeah, it's division opponent, right? And you are dealing with a lot of top tier talent. This team won the Memorial Cup last
Yeah.
year, and I'm just looking at some of the highlights now as we speak. Like this Igor Chernyshov, like in this third period, they were just all over Windsor, and it was 2-2. Right, Ryan Abraham makes it 2-2 on a
Yeah.
rebound goal with 3 minutes to go into the second period. But then it was just all Saginaw after that.
Yeah.
Let me look at the box. Sorry.
It was a
In the
beat
second,
down.
yeah, they started with Carson Harmer, then Michael Miza scores. Yeah, Harmer from the point there. Michael Miza scores. Igor Chernyshov scores, and then they just took the whole energy out of the building there.
Yeah.
Windsor gets one back in the third period, but Miza scores into the empty net. His 42nd goal of the year, by the way. And Saginaw comes away with a big win for them, not just because, obviously they want to get one against Windsor and they want to try and get one
Yeah.
back against Windsor, but because it solidifies them as like a top four team in the Western Conference, right?
I
Those
mean,
big two big points there are big for that Saginaw team.
it's probably safe to say that Misa is probably going to score 50 this year, right?
Yeah, he's at 42 right now,
Yeah.
about 17, 15, 16 games left for each team. I would go on the over. He'd probably hit 52, 53.
Crazy,
Nick
man.
Lardis from Brantford has 52 goals now, but we'll get to that in just a minute.
Hmm.
So, whatever. The Windsor shakes it off. They get a loss in to Saginaw, and then we will
Yeah.
see them again this Friday. So, got to shake it off and come back the next week. And so 2 days later, they come back home against the Sarnia Sting, a
Yeah.
team that's battling to stay in the playoff picture. They're about the 7th seed right now. And Windsor just absolutely jumps all over them in the first period. They score three first period goals. They score 2 goals in the first 2 minutes and 25 seconds of the game. Those 2 goals came 19 seconds apart. Windsor all
Mhm.
over them, all over them. They do give up 2 goals, but it is a 7-2 decision. They outshoot Sarnia 46-19 in this contest. Much better looking team
Mhm.
uh 2 nights later, but obviously a different opponent in the Sarnia Sting.
Yeah, the Sarnius thing too. There was a couple good scraps in that game.
Yes.
Um, Belchez got tossed for a slew foot, I believe.
Yep.
Um, what did you think of that play? You think it was warranted?
I I did not I at this time I did not see it. I'm sorry. So
Okay,
I
well,
don't I
any
don't have
kind
a
of slew foot plays kind of dangerous, but whatever. You got tossed. Listen, it's not like they needed him. You know,
two
like they were.
games.
Yeah. Did he get two?
He got 2 games. He sat out against Brantford and he's gonna sit out against Sarnia on Thursday night. He'll be back on Friday against
Oh, okay.
Sacramento.
So he did get a 2 game suspension. Okay. So I
Yes,
figured something would probably come of that just by seeing the play.
for sure.
Also, too, Protus got lit up. And then I believe it was Green Tree
Green
came
tree.
over to the rescue too. And the thing was is he hit him and the guy was kind of down for a second and Green Tree skated over and just stood there. And
Yes.
then like the guy tried to skate away and he was like, "Oh no, 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 no. Like get over here. Like you're not getting off that easy." Which I like to see. Like I know everybody, "Oh, they're fighting. They're fighting." Relax, okay? You sticking up for that's that's what you do for the boys. You get in there, someone gets rocked, you get in there, you stick up. I understand it's kind of the only part I don't like seeing in the game nowadays is guys have to fight when they throw good hits. Like I didn't think there
Yeah,
was anything bad with that hit on
not
Proto.
really. It was just that I think it was just Protus was down, like he kind of just caught him off guard, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was a big hit, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was as malicious as that would warrant.
Oh, everybody is
Big
fucking calling
suspension.
for his head. I'm like, holy crow, guys! Like
Yeah,
it's a hit. And Protus, I don't even think he missed a shift. I think maybe 1 or 2 shifts he missed, and he was back on the ice. So
yeah. I remember when I was watching the game, like he was on the bench getting some looked at by the trainer, but that's after
yeah,
anyone takes
that
a
was the
hit like
extent.
that,
He
he
never
was
went
still
down the hallway. He never
no.
nothing. He stayed on the bench. So whatever. And
Well,
then gets a little entertaining for the fans. A couple scraps. Like you got to, it's the OHL. We used to go to the barn and the game would be 4-3 and there'd be like 9 fights. Like it's just crazy.
yes.
Like the league's really turned around like for the best. Like the skill level throughout the league now like really shows it's really thriving right now. And like
Hmm.
I know
The
that there's talks of we'll talk at a later date on it, but there's talks of another American team coming into the OHL and this and that. But
hmm
we'll talk on that on a later date. But
Yeah, that'll
yeah,
be
but the
exciting,
league's
but
league's getting bigger, baby. It's getting,
it's
the
gonna
look at these
happen.
players. So now we see like it seemed like back in the day when kids come out of the OHL that not very many kids we would see just go right into the or right into the NHL. Like, you know what I mean? That jump, like they completely skipped the minors. Like they would back in the day, they would put them down in the minors. They'd see AHL, they'd see ECHL. Nowadays, we're seeing more kids just come right out of the OHL and right into the NHL. So that just shows you what kind of turnaround this league has had.
For sure. Yeah, they're getting drafted a year younger than they used to as well.
Hmm.
Like I was looking up like Larry Murphy numbers and stuff like back in the 80s, like they were getting drafted when they were 18, turning 19 instead. It was
Crazy.
different.
Crazy.
So,
And people too, get out to these games. Go watch these games. The OHL is thriving right now. It's good hockey. Go watch.
it's a
Awesome.
lot of fun. Yeah, so yeah, um Franchisetti and Green Tree fought.
Hmm.
Belches got the match for the slew foot. There was a couple of other little dust ups there. Nothing that was
Nothing
crazy.
crazy.
Nothing crazy there.
Nope.
Basically, a nice division game between Windsor and Sarnia. Big thing. Noah Morneau, 2 goals, 1 assist. This whole week, he was very, very, very good. Now we'll talk more about him when
Yep.
we talk about our next game. The
Hmm.
next day, the Windsor Spitfires welcomed the Brantford Bulldogs into town for a night in which they celebrated the 15-year anniversary of the 2010 Memorial Cup champion Windsor Spitfires team. So guys like Zach Cassian, Harry Young, and a couple of others were in town for the weekend and for that game. And it was a really good game. Brantford is a top 10 team in the OHL. Like they're a team that's battling in the Eastern Conference because there's a bunch of teams in that conference that want to go all in this year, and they went
Yep.
in and got some trades. And Jay McKee is still the head coach there from his days coaching them during their championship run when they beat
Mhm.
Windsor in the championship in
Yep.
22, I believe that year was, and then they went to the final of the Memorial Cup too that year. So the guy's good coach, good team, good organization, and it was a really good night. Windsor dominated on the shot clock, but it was Brantford 1-0 to start this game. I'll talk about the overall shots ended up being 37-15, and Windsor was leading 11-3 in the shots after the first period, but they needed a Liam Greentree goal with 90 seconds left in the period to go into the first break, tied
Mhm.
1-1. What do you remember anything specific about the first period that stood out
No,
to
the
you?
first period, no, it was just was just hockey to me, man. OHL back and forth, zip here, there, everywhere. It was good to see them because I know the first goal that Windsor gave up in the first period came kind of late. There was like just over 5 minutes left, I believe. So for them to come right back about 2 to 3 minutes later and strike to have it all square going into
Yeah.
the break again. It sucks when the team score late in the frame, man, and then you're going down and it kind of just brings the vibe down on the bench and late
Yes.
ones anyways.
Yeah, so Brantford scored at
Mhm.
14:31 of the first period. That was Merrick Vanaker with
Yep.
assist to Jake O'Brien and Pat Thomas. And then it was an individual effort with 90 seconds left. Liam Greetry picks the pocket of the defenseman and just lets off a laser right away.
Mhm.
Catches the goalie off guard. That's Ryerson Leanders, and he scores his 35th goal of the year. Just an absolute dog effort on the
Yep.
forecheck. He could have packed it in and not, pressed that defenseman with that time. He could have, skated it off and they could have been down 1-0
Mhm.
after the first period. But that's a leadership play. That's a captain's kind of play. And if I'm the LA Kings, I love seeing that out of Liam Greentree.
Absolutely. And if your kids out there watching it, rip that puck, baby. Rip it.
Yeah, especially after a turnover, right? It's
Yeah.
a time and change
Hmm.
play. And so this game was really tight in the second period. These teams shared like Windsor had 18 shots on goal in the second period, but it was still tight. They weren't able to get anything going
Hmm.
really significant. They had some power play opportunities, but it wasn't until 2 minutes left that Anthony Cristoforo scores on the power play for his 12th goal of the year with assist to Jack Nesbitt. And guess who? Liam Greentree, a kind of a textbook power play toward the end of the of the second period, and
Hmm.
something that you want to see. I'm just looking at the highlight
I was
again
gonna
right
say
now.
I didn't see this goal, but the way he's been kind of hot lately. He's been scoring as of late. He's been finding the back of the net quite a bit. Let me
Mhm.
guess, did he shoot it through a crowd?
Actually, he kind of cashed in on a rebound on the backside. Windsor
Okay.
moved it from D to the far dot on a one timer, and he crashed on the backside during like a scramble. But
Because
Johnny on the
lately
spot,
he's been
man.
up at the top of that top of the freaking thing there, and he's been shooting through crowds as of late, scoring his goals.
Yeah, he's been really impressive. So it could be interesting to see if someone picks him up as an 18-year-old like in the draft again. Like last year was his draft year, but he might go the way of Matt Maggio and kind of pick up a contract, like get drafted the second time around.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what his status is as of right now, but really good player. He's been the best defenseman for Windsor all year on a two-way basis. Matherin's been really good
Mhm.
shutdown and pitching in, but Cristoforo
E-
has been absolutely
Even a
great this year.
college team, like how are college teams not knocking on this guy's door?
Who knows? Yeah, who knows? Like I'm sure he's got an agent that's working everything behind
Yeah,
the scenes there. So
crazy.
and it looked like Windsor was going to take this game, right? It was back and forth in the third period. It looked like Windsor was going to try and take this game with some solid play down the stretch, but then Ilya Protas gets a double minor for high sticking. He draws blood, so it's a 4-minute power play. And top goal scorer in the league, Nick Lardis, cashes in on a nice setup from Merrick Vanaker and Pat Thomas on the power play to make it 2-2 after with 4.5 minutes to go in the
Hmm.
game. And then we go to overtime, my friend.
Hmm. Did you notice that all the goals that were scored in this game were kind of late in the frames?
Yeah, you know what?
Like, you know
That's
what I
that's a
mean?
great point. 14:31 in the first, 18:33 in the first, 18:03 in the second,
And then they tied it at
15:29 in the third.
15-29.
Yeah, Windsor obviously outshot them during this game,
Hmm.
but it was just a dog effort on the 3-on-3. Noah Morneau gets a turnover after Protas hassles the defenseman behind the net. Noah Morneau puts a shot on goal, and Protas cleans up the garbage for the OT winner.
Hmm.
Absolutely not it was an improbable way to finish the game. You weren't expecting that right out the gate, but a big goal for the Windsor Spitfires to take an extra 2 points
Wow.
in this contest.
Talk about making up for your mistake. You know what I mean? High stick a guy, you're in the box, they tie it up, and then you come out and score a minute into freaking overtime, right? So it's like, I'm pissed at you, but you did your job. So
Yeah, and
you're
from what I
okay.
read, yeah, and from what I read from post game like articles and stuff, I think this
Mm.
one was from the Windsor Star, but he said, yeah, he's like that was definitely on my mind as I was playing in
Oh,
overtime. He's like, I just kind of messed us up, kind of
Yeah.
at the end of the third period. We were playing great. I kind of take a bad penalty. He says, I wanted
Mhm.
to redeem myself. And he scores his 35th goal of the year. He leads
Yeah.
the team. Oh, sorry. He's tied now for the team lead in goals with Liam Greentree. And this kid has just been absolutely unreal for the Spits this year.
They're gonna love him in Washington, I'll tell you that.
Hmm.
And when he goes there with his brother, who's playing there too, and is like having an unreal season, seems like every time I watch the game, that guy scores. Even the Spits, both of them. Anytime I watch a game, they're scoring. Both of those two guys. So what are they like when he goes to Washington? Like this kid might be one of these guys that we see that skips over the minors, depending on the like situation in Washington with their roster coming like come next like season. But
Hmm.
I don't know, man. He could be one of those guys I think that could come right out of freaking like junior and go right into the NHL. He's
Hmm.
one of those guys that could do it.
Yes, because he's Belarusian, right? So he came to the league a year later than he could have. So
Mhm.
when Windsor took him in the CHL import draft, they got him a year later than what would have normally happened.
Yeah.
But because they're letting those Russians and Belarusian players in now, you got an influx of talent. Like Saginaw just signed Igor Chernysov, like we said. We're gonna see him on Friday. He's already
Mhm.
scored a bunch of goals in only a handful of games. Like he's going to be a stud, and he was probably why they were willing to let go of so many of their talented players at the deadline because they have not skipped a beat. They're a very talented team still.
Yeah. Yeah, this like I said, this Protus kid, man, is just like it's been kind of a like treat for us watching him this year. Let's face it, like
100%.
he's not back next year, is he?
I would highly doubt it, but you'll take him if he gets sent back. I don't know
But
how that would.
he can come back. He is like
He's only
eligible, but we
19.
don't know if he's going to, is what we're saying.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
for sure. So Protus is
That's a
he
big
is a
loss if he goes, man.
2006, so he'll be 19. He's going to turn 19 in July.
And this kid's huge. Like he's a big boy. Like
6'5", 200 pounds.
and think about it. He hasn't even really like he's probably going to gain another 10, 15 pounds when he,
For sure.
like as long as he maintains his speed and everything, like throwing on another 10, 15 pounds isn't going to hurt him when he goes up to the NHL. So,
Think about it this way. He was the 75th pick in the draft this year. AJ Spelcy went number 72.
yeah, that's,
So they valued him just below AJ, and he hadn't even spent time in the OHL yet.
yeah, that's insane.
So that I think that he's gonna be a steal at number 75
Oh,
overall,
oh yeah.
right? If all things work out. So in 46 games played this year, he's got 35 goals, 44 assists for 79 points, and he's
Jesus.
plus 36.
Is that good?
Did he break the game yet?
Yeah.
Um, and I'll quickly just look at Green Tree stats, and then there's one other player that I want to talk about before we end this segment, and you and Tristan do some NHL
Yeah.
and PJHL chat.
Yeah.
Um, for Liam Greentree, 50 games played, 35 goals, 51 assists. He's got 86 points, so he's still 7 points ahead of Protus there, and he is the leader in sorry, he's not the leader in points. He's got 86 points. Michael Meza just exploded and has 99 points somehow. Just absolutely gross. So, but Protus and Greentree are 3-4 in the league,
Hmm.
86 points each. So, after that game, Lardis had 86 points too, and he's got more goals, so they have the edge on him. So Greentree is second in the league, tied for second, and Protus is fourth. So
Hmm.
Lardis and Greentree are tied for second, and Patrick Thomas from Brantford is fifth. So we saw a lot of talent
Yeah.
this week in at the WFCU Center as well.
Hmm.
Always good to see. Talk to us about your time going to the game in the suite. What was that like? Would
Oh,
you
the suite was
suggest it
good,
to people?
even though we played like shit, but
Yeah, that was the game against Flint, but I never asked you about your experience in
oh,
the
the suite
suite.
was awesome, man. We went in there like put it this way. I didn't wait in line to throw a piss. I
Yep.
didn't wait in line for food. I didn't wait in line for beer. I didn't like because they only take care of the suites, right? And this
Yeah.
suite is, I mean, directly at center ice. It's next to the owners.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So like
Pun intended,
yeah, so like we kind of had to be like on our best. We didn't want to get too rowdy in
for
the
sure.
in the suite, considering we were next to the owners. We seen who else was there that night? I believe Reichel went through the suite there
Oh, cool.
next
I haven't
door.
seen one in a while.
Um, yeah, there was a couple of them that went through there that we noticed who they were, but and I want to be like, hey, and like flick them a card, you know what I mean? A business card, but like it's like, they're here and like how
It's hard
many,
because
yeah.
you don't want to be you don't want to
I'm
be a
just gonna
bother.
start carrying them with me and I'm just gonna be like, listen, I don't
Yeah.
want to be that guy, but you're standing here in front of me. So I'm gonna give you this card. I know you've done pods in the past.
Yeah.
We're Windsor based, so we can talk about this area and hockey, but here, bam. So I'm gonna start doing that because I've been now this show kind of gets us into spots where we kind of normally wouldn't be. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah, being a media outlet that happens, right?
yeah, so yeah, so well, I'm not really used to because we kind of really kicked up the notches on the media outlet kind of when you came aboard. You
Imagine
know what I
that.
mean? Now we've like turned it up. Now we're spit 73s, like two leagues we're covering, three leagues we're covering, and like a whole bunch of stuff. So, but now, like I said, it kind of gets us opportunities where we see these guys at rinks once in a while. And like, what was it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, three of the spits were at I think it was Belchez, Woodall, and I want to say Davis were in Essex
Oh
on the
yeah.
ice on the ice with one of the teams before
With
a
one of the teams.
73s game.
Oh, cool.
So that's why I was like, hey, and I didn't get a chance to say hi to them because like they're on the ice, I'm doing my thing with the threes and
For sure.
stuff like that. So I didn't get to so I messaged like Woodall and was like, hey, like are you guys still here? Because I was gonna go say hi. But then they're like, no, we had to go. So I was like, oh. So I
Yeah.
was, but like I said, it just gets us into spots, and we're also going to do some stuff with him too. What all is coming up? We just got to line up our
Yeah.
schedules here, but
Yeah, we've been trying to do that for a little while
him and
now.
I have been in talks about it. We both want to do it. We all want to do it. It's just a matter of lining everybody up. So
For sure.
we'll
I
get
have
it.
a nominee for Beauty of the Week.
Uh-oh, who do you got?
I got Noah Morneau of the
Yeah.
Windsor Spitfires because in the past calendar week, 4 games, right? He had a big goal against London, had an assist against Saginaw. He had 3 points against Sarnia, 2 goals and assist, and he had a big assist in overtime for the game winner against Brantford on Saturday night.
Mhm.
This kid was a 15th round pick, man, and he's in his overage year. In his career, he has 182 games, right? 182 games played for the Windsor Spitfires. He has 110 points, and almost half of those points have come this year. 18 goals and 33 assists, 51 points, plus 15 on the year. Like he's
He's a dog, man.
he's got 4 game winning goals on the year. He's won almost 400 faceoffs for this team. He's averaging a point per game, and I just want to give this kid his flowers because
Mhm.
when you're a 15th round pick, half the time you don't even get asked to come to training camp, right?
And also
And
too, like Morno's kind of one of those guys you can bounce him all over the lineup too. You can play him on the first line, you can play him on the fourth line, you can put him out when you're shorthanded, you can put him out when you're up a man on the power play. He's kind of what he's like yeah, he's just one of
jack of
those
all
guys you can
trades.
use in all situations. And he, like you had just said, he's a great face-off guy too. So you see him taking a lot of key face-offs for the Spits late in games. He's on that dot a lot. Let's put it that way.
Mhm, for sure. And he is a great story, man. 2020, like he was on this team. I believe he was on fourth line when
Yeah.
the team went to the finals in 2022. That would
Yeah.
track, right? 22, 23,
Yeah, this kid's
24.
battled, man.
Yeah, and I just wanted to give him his flowers. He's my beauty of the week. He's committed to go to Bowling Green
Yep.
in the NCAA, or I believe it's a different name for the hockey there. But he's gonna
Mm.
go play college hockey in the NCAA for Bowling Green, and it's a good fit. And he was one of the first guys from the OHL to sign a deal
Yep.
over in the States to go to school as soon as they lifted that ban. So
Yep.
congrats
He's
to him. He's having a
one of
great
the
season, and I think this team, if you think about the success that they're going to have, I think a lot of it's going to have to deal with Noah Morneau and that those top guys for the Spits
love his game, man. Love
for
that
sure.
kid's game.
So the Spits are still up in the regular season. They're up 19 points in the division. They're second in the conference with 75 points. They're 19 points up in the division, but they're going to play the Saginaw Spirit on Friday. Before that, though, they got to play the Sarnia Sting at home on
Yeah.
Thursday night at the WFCU Center to
Mhm.
finish off their
And then yeah,
seven
Friday when
game
they're
their 7 game
yeah.
winning their homestand. Sorry,
And then
so
Friday when they're in Saginaw, if you tune into your TV Windsor, you'll
that's right.
see us T out on the air there. So maybe we can get that guy in his house fucking swinging at the air, mad because we're on there. But to that guy, I hope you
Mhm.
watch the show, and that's for
Yeah,
you.
thanks for
So,
watching.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
I'll make
And
sure I
then on
smile for you, you plug. All
that's
right.
right. Friday the 14th, right? We're going to be hosting the Saginaw Spirit. I mean, sorry, we're going to be in the studio
Yeah.
as Windsor plays in Saginaw. Then on Monday for Family Day, Windsor's hosting a matinee game at 2 p.m. Monday the 17th. So lots of tickets still available for that game. Good idea for you and the family and all that stuff
Yeah.
to go catch a game in the middle of the day and still be able to do whatever you want to do afterwards. So,
Love it.
anything else, my friend, before I send it over to you and Tristan on the other side?
No, we're gonna smash out on the other side here, so everybody stay tuned for that.
All right, we'll see you in a bit here on HTH.
And here we are, folks. Back half of the show. We have
Yep.
Tristan with us now. A little bit of
Yes,
a
sir.
weird episode. Brett and I on the front
Yeah.
half, you and I on the back half. But here we are. Bunch of shit you and I have to, shall we say,
Cover.
shoot the shit on is what I always say.
Fair
Um,
enough.
where do you want to start? Do we go Four Nations face off, PJHL? Where do you want to
I
start?
I, I want to start off with the Four Nations actually.
All right, so we're
I,
gonna start off with the Four Nations. Four Nations face-off kicks off on Wednesday, I believe, where Canada will play Sweden. I believe the game time is 8 o'clock. That'll be on Sportsnet for those who want to watch.
did you hear about the power play unit?
Well, fill us in.
All right, so Team Canada, which is actually I saw the betting odds. USA is favored
Hmm.
somehow. It's goaltending. We'll get to that. But anyway,
Yeah.
Team Canada's number one power play unit is Connor McDavid, Sam Reinhart, Sidney Crosby, Cale Makar, and Nathan McKinnon.
Jesus.
That might be the greatest power play unit in Team Canada history since like the late 80s or early 90s. Like,
And I think just in the normal lineup too, Sid's playing with Nate in the
yeah.
normal
Yeah, they're
lineup
putting
too.
they're putting McKinnon on right wing. So
Yeah. Wow.
that's crazy.
How do you feel in net?
So I'm assuming Bennington's gonna start,
Hmm.
although I'm not sure because you got Hill and you got Montembeault, both of which are kind of like Montembeault, I think, is the automatic third string.
Hmm.
Like he at times hasn't even been Montreal's best goalie this year. They got Jakub Dobeš, who just
Yeah.
was called up a couple weeks ago. He's kind of stolen the starter role there, and Montreal's fallen off hard. But you know what I did hear? It's funny you mentioned goaltending. Logan Thompson, a name that everyone was like, "Oh, why isn't he there? Why isn't he's like the best goalie in the league right now? Washington's number one. He's their goalie. Why?" Both coaches of Team Canada, Peter DeBoer and Bruce Cassidy, who have both coached him in Vegas,
Hmm.
both said they did not want him on the team. He got blacklisted.
Come on.
So that says something.
Mm.
If two coaches say they don't want that guy on the team,
Could be a little bit of an attitude problem.
yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, actually.
And those are two seasoned coaches.
Yeah, like
Like
veteran coaches.
Cassidy
Yeah.
won a cup with no, he didn't win a cup with Boston. That was Claude Julien. My bad. Anyway, but he's had a winning record wherever he's gone. Same with Peter DeBoer, right? So
Mhm.
you think about those two guys and how many players they've seen cross their path, and they say no to a guy who's like a 925 save percentage. We'll
Yeah, that's
see. But
weird.
in net, I wanted Bennington or Aiden Hill. Personally, Bennington's antics kind of ticked me off just a little bit. So I'd rather go with Aiden Hill. He's also a giant. He's like
Mhm.
6'4" and 230 pounds. Like he's massive. So
Do you think he's gonna try to do any of that shit at the Four Nations face-off?
Bennington,
Yeah.
I guess
One,
we don't
like,
know.
how has nobody just grabbed him and thumped him?
Yeah, because he's about 170 pounds and 6'2". Like he's
I
pretty
wish
slim.
didn't him and Flower almost get into it a couple years back?
Yeah.
Wish they would
Which
have fought.
Fleury does have a little bit of size on him, but even still, like Bennington is not a very
Hmm.
calm player,
Hmm.
and that's not something you really. I'm surprised that if Thompson didn't go, that Bennington did. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because on the surface level, you think Bennington has to be the one that's more um, liable to act up, but we'll see. I think Aiden Hill is the most steady choice. He's won a cup. So is
Yeah.
Bennington. So people who try and say, "Oh, the goalies of Team Canada are their weak point," guess what? How many cups does Hellebuck have? How many
Oh,
cups does Thatcher Demko have? How much cups does Jake Ottinger have? Jordan Bennington? One.
one.
Aiden
Hill.
Hill? One. So we'll see,
So we're
right?
getting crispy. Is pretty much is
We are
what's
getting
gonna happen
crispy.
here.
And even the other goaltending, like I don't sleep on well, it's kind of tough with Sweden because both Ullmark and Markstrom are like hurt, although Ullmark just came back. We'll see how that all plays out.
Mhm. Now, how many Red Wings do we have there? We have Larkin with Team USA,
Raymond,
Raymond with Sweden.
yeah.
Is Sider playing?
No, there's no German team.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just Finland. I don't think. Yeah, I think that's it.
They
Or
should have done
DeBrincat.
it how
Is
they
DeBrincat
did it,
make?
where it was
No,
like
DeBrincat didn't make Team United
they
States.
should have done it how they had it in the past there, where it was like Team North America, Team Canada,
Hmm.
US,
I'll just.
Sweden. Then they could have done it. They could have had like 5 or 6 teams there.
That was sick when they had Team Europe. Remember with
They had,
Draisaitl and
that's what I
Kopitar.
mean. You could do that. You could do Team Europe, Team North America, Team Canada, Team USA.
I think that. I think it would be better that way. Like
But you're
that Team
getting
North
more players
America. Remember
involved.
Team North America? All the young guys on that team.
Yeah, it was like Matthews and all them.
Yeah, Shane. Like Larkin was on that team. Johnny Gaudreau.
Hmm.
That was quite the team. So I wanted to look at. Or sorry, it was Jeremy Swayman. Wow, Swayman made it over Demko for
Wow.
USA. Well, even more so, 0 cups and horrible year.
Hmm.
So speaks for itself. Finland's goaltending is Kevin Lankinen, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Luukkonen, guy who can
Yeah.
steal games. Same with Saros, but they're both on losing clubs, right? So it's kind of like,
It's kind of hard to gauge when they're on losing clubs.
yeah, exactly. How much does that play a factor? Like, are they just going to give up a lot easier than someone else who wouldn't? Or are they
Yeah.
going to take pride in the fact that I'm playing for my country? And Sweden's goalies are, oh yeah, that's right, it's weak because Markstrom's out. If Markstrom was in, Sweden would have a legit shot, I think, at gold.
Yeah.
But they've got Samuel Ersson from Philly, who kind of battles back and forth to be Philly's #1 goalie. Philip Gustafson from
Okay.
Minnesota, who's been good.
Hmm.
Minnesota's been a wagon this year.
Yeah.
And Linus Ullmark from Ottawa, who's been on the upswing, but he's just coming off injury, so we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah.
What do
He
you
was
think?
out for a while too.
Yeah, I still think face value though, the United States has the most stacked goaltending easily.
Hmm. Man, I'm telling you though, it's like I can't wait for this. Like I'm just curious to see how it's all going to pan out. Like how are the players going to go like are they going to go hard here or are we like, you know what I mean? Or are we
I
like
think they will.
in or are we in fucking all-star game mode where they're going to lollygag around and like no, I want it like go. Like I
Yeah,
want them flying around, I want them hitting, I want scrums, I want
play for a reason.
exactly.
It's the mini
Like
Olympics, dude. Like that's.
and now
I want to
there's
see Team Canada. Dude, someone put out an. Sorry, you continue. I'll put
no,
my
I was
point
just
in
gonna
a second.
ask. There's 2 arenas that they're out of. So it's Montreal and what was the other one? I think because was there one in Canada, one in the US? I'll look it up. I got it. But go ahead,
Potentially, I could
whatever.
see it being an up, but what I was gonna say is I don't even know. And you cut me off, bro. No, kidding. I cut
Sorry.
you off. That's my bad. But I'm just excited to see. Oh, that's what
Austin's
it
the
was.
other one. TD Garden.
Okay, TD Gardens.
Yeah.
They put out an edit. I think it was someone on Sportsnet put out an edit of what Team Canada's going to look like, and it edited a tic-tac-toe play between McDavid to McKinnon to Crosby, and it was like them in their own jerseys. It was the coolest thing ever. Like
Hmm.
I'll have to send it to you because it's awesome. Like it got me goosebumped up. Like you think about how stacked the team is. We have Cale Makar and McDavid and McKinnon all on the same team. That's my top three players in the NHL
Yeah.
right now, if you
The,
ask me.
the part that's good too is I think next year is a Olympic year too, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it
So
is.
we're
I'm
gonna
learning
turn
about that in
around.
school right now, actually. Early
So
modern
we're gonna run it
Olympics.
back, and the Olympics next year. You got to figure you're probably gonna add in Bedsy. You're gonna add in a couple of the young guys too, right? So that Team Canada is gonna be nasty. I can't
Can
wait.
you imagine, dude?
It's
How
like
gross Team Canada's
oh,
gonna be.
the future is bright. You could put like there's just so many
And
options out there.
did they pass legislation though for the next Olympics that NHL players will play?
I think they did, but I don't think Russia is involved yet.
No, no, they've been banned again. I saw they re-upped the banning point, right?
Oh, did
Like
they?
there's yeah, I think it's still another full calendar year, so there won't be another World Juniors with Russia next year.
Wow.
That's crazy, eh? Well, I don't want to get too political, but what's your just light-hearted, like surface level philosophy on that? Do you think it's right or do you think it's wrong? Just cut and dry.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I
I
always
think
like
it's
them. I always like them playing too, just for the straight fact that like some of the best players are Russian. You know
This is
what I
true,
mean?
right? Especially with prospects as of late. You look at the teams that have prospects in Russia. Alexander Nikishin from
Yeah.
Carolina. Uh,
Another guy too to watch out for to jump on that Canada team next year is Wyatt Johnston will be another one that you could possibly see on that team as well.
dude,
So imagine him with
he's
Bedsy
so
on
good
a
in
line.
Dallas.
Like imagine him with Bedsy. Because I believe Johnson's a Toronto boy, like Toronto area, right? So
He is.
yeah. So
Obviously, as people from our area know, played Spitfires here. Would have been 3 seasons, but COVID knocked out his draft year.
that sucked. And the
Yeah.
craziest part was he come off of his draft year or whatever where he didn't play any games and he like went in and made Dallas. Like that was
Yeah,
the part
he
that was
didn't
the
play any games and he
craziest.
got drafted first round like 20th
Yeah.
because what they did is they called it like OHL showcase or something like that. There was like
Yeah.
10 games
Yeah. And he
that
went in there and lit it up.
they let these guys play and they watch and like the scouts were the only ones in there watching it and he was dialed in. Jim Nill was like mark this kid down. Like he tested really well with physical stats and all this stuff. So
Mhm.
we'll see.
Can't wait.
I think that's a good. I like that, Ant. Coming in on the back door, I could see him knocking. Saying,
Mhm.
"Look
I'd
out!"
like
Like
to see just like one line that's just those young kids, like Bedsy, Johnson, and like somebody else over on the wing with them. Like put a
I
big
think
body with them.
there's not too many young guys. The first one that would come to mind is Quentin Byfield, but his stock has fallen hard. I feel bad for the guy. Like he came out of his draft year second overall. You're thinking the
What
next
if,
big power forward,
well,
but
you got to figure if Crosby's there next year too, then they can. What if they put Sid in like a third line role with like those two young kids? Imagine Sid with Bedsy and
two
Johnson.
dude, remember two kids and an old goat? That was a line on the Detroit Red Wings 0-2.
And I'm
Remember that?
all
They had
about putting a guy like Crosby to feed those two kids, man.
Dude, 100%. It was Pavel Datsuk, who was like 21 at the time, Boyd Devereaux, who was like 22, and then Brett Hull, who was like
Yeah.
40, and they lit it up.
And then eventually, I think they threw Zetterberg with them too.
Yes, they did. Boyd
Yeah.
Devereaux went back to the shadow realm. He had like one good season with the
Yeah.
Red Wings and was bye bye. He
Crazy.
was shout out to Boyd Devereaux though, Michigan State legend,
Mm-hmm. Should try to
legend.
get a hold of him.
Yeah,
We'll have
that's
to
true.
maybe
He's
hit him
also
up
he's
on
played
Instagram.
Toronto for quite a few years too.
We'll have to hit him up,
Yeah,
see if we can get him on for a rip with us.
that would be cool.
Um, should we transition over into the PJHL? We're getting into the last week of the regular
Yeah, sure.
season.
Yeah,
We're getting
tight
down.
stretch, still
It's
tight.
crunch time now.
Yeah, crunch
For a
time,
few
big time.
teams. I believe Essex can clinch first in the West with a win on Tuesday night over
Yes.
Dresden. So we're hoping that that's going to happen. We're not taking anybody lightly at this point.
No,
What do
certainly
the
not.
threes have to do to just, come in and just maintain and grab this like first in the West? Like, what does these guys got to do?
Well, they got to come out firing. Their last 4 games, or three at least, have trailed to
Yeah.
start the game. That's not what you want to do. I don't
Hmm.
care if you come back and win the game by 5 goals, and I'm sure neither does Tony Porowski. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good that you didn't blow it, but guess what? Come playoffs, if that's Lakeshore Canadians and you're staring at a 1-0 or 2-0 hole, good luck, right?
Hmm.
Or
Yeah.
anybody for that matter. Like Moortown, we saw that happen. You're down 2-0. You think John Chartrand's going to let in 2 goals? No.
Yeah, and he's the type that will steal games too. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
They have to.
exactly. No
The
team is
first
safe.
the first goal is very important. Um, I'm always like I always say try to like change the board early.
Hmm.
Like and I'm all about too physical play. You know me. I like when they get into the corners. I like when they get hit, and I like when bodies start flying around.
Hmm.
I feel like we've kind of gotten away from that style of play in the past. Like we're still hitting, but I feel like
It's
it's kind of not, we're not as physical. And maybe that's a good thing right now at this point going into the
no, yeah, we're
playoffs.
playing
But
smart, I think. Not taking penalties, not getting too out of hand.
mhm.
Because last thing you want is to get someone really mad and they come back and whack you and break your wrist or something, right?
Yeah.
So you just gotta, pull your punches a little bit and know to check yourself
Mhm.
when you're checking.
So if Essex will, if they clinch first place on Tuesday, then it's going to be a first round matchup with the Wild, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
if
Walpole is
if
locked
the
in at
playoffs started right now, Essex would play Walpole, Lakeshore would play Dresden, Moortown would play the Blades, and the
hmm
Admirals would match up with the Sharks right now if
which
that's how
is
we started.
which is looking like what it's gonna be. Unless Wheatley loses out and Blenheim
Mhm.
wins,
Do you think Amherstburg slides into that third spot? They're
I
only a
do
point
not.
back
I
right
do
now.
not. They're a point back, but they have a game up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you think about Amherstburg, right? Amherstburg's last game of the season is going to be versus Moortown.
So that game could be huge.
It is going to be huge. You know why? Lakeshore plays Moortown.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
So guess what? If that's a Lakeshore win, it will be down to the last game.
Hmm.
So if Moortown wins in any fashion, they will clinch. Actually, hang on. It would go to regulation wins. So actually, Amherstburg, the ways Amherstburg gets in is if Moortown loses out or they lose to Moortown in a shootout
Yeah,
or
because
overtime.
Amherstburg has 20
Right.
wins, Moortown has 19.
So if they tied with them, yeah, it would come to regulation wins. So or total wins, but then regulation wins.
Yeah, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here.
Oh boy, are we ever. There's another division. You know what I saw earlier today? I'm gonna pull it up right now. There's
While you
another
do that, I feel like last year at this point in time, like everything was already kind of set. Like everybody was kind of
yeah,
spread apart. Like this year seemed like it was way better in the West with the teams being like so like close. Like yes, Essex and Lakeshore went out in front, but that 3 to like 6 or 7, they were all within like 2 or 3 points of each other almost all season.
yeah. And if Essex, I will say this, just side note before I forget. If Essex were to win out, so if we go in and we beat Dresden tomorrow and beat Lakeshore on Friday, Valentine's Day,
Hmm.
we would be the best team record we've had since the near perfect season Tony Porowski had all those years ago.
Hmm.
I think they only had like 2 shootout losses.
Jeez,
So, or ties or overtime losses, whatever the marcation was, but they didn't lose in regulation.
that's
And then I
crazy.
think the year prior they had like 1 loss in regulation. It was ridiculous, but we would have 37 wins, which hasn't been done in a long time.
Hmm.
But if we win tomorrow, or if we lose tomorrow and win Friday, or win tomorrow, lose Friday, we tie our 2022 to 23 record. So 2 years ago when Jamie McDermott was head coach.
Also, too, if they were to lose Tuesday, that game in Lakeshore would mean everything for the West, wouldn't it?
Lakeshore has 2 games left as well. I'm not sure Oh, they play Moortown. So if Lakeshore has to win out though,
Yes.
So
Lakeshore is 3 points back right now.
yeah, so they would have to beat Moortown and beat us, which is honestly that's first and third. So that's a tough go for Lakeshore. They're gonna have to try and push hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it's a tough go for them. They have the ability to do it.
Yeah, of course.
So I will never ever doubt Lakeshore again. I apologize, all the guys who are Lakeshore players, if you guys watch this at all. I'm so sorry I doubted you guys
I
ever.
never did. I
Um,
never count them out.
Last
Ever,
year, I
ever,
really
ever.
was convinced the threes had their number, but I was proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That game seven, sometimes it takes a couple bounces, but guess what? That's hockey, right?
Yeah.
People can't say, "Oh, well, this won you a championship." Guess what? A couple bounces go either way. It's a different game.
Mm-hmm.
Lakeshore didn't miss the net. That was the be all and end all of that was, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Scarlett, the Essex 73 Slayer.
Yeah.
That'll haunt me forever. Um, yeah, it was a good series though, and I think Essex is coming back this year with a vengeance. We talked with Gabe Piccolo
Mm-hmm.
earlier this year, start of the season, and he had talked about, how they're all saying it's, hashtag 73's revenge tour.
Yeah.
They're running it back with Tony Porowski.
Well, in this group of freaking overagers we have too, which we're also going to celebrate
Hmm.
tomorrow night. Do you want to list the we have five, right?
Yes, so
Five of
we've
them?
got Carson Bugley, Gabriel Piccolo, Patrick McManus, Kale Kuvion, and Alexander Braddock.
Yeah. Which have been great.
Oh
All of
yeah, well you
them.
think about
Like,
how long most of those guys were tenured. Bugley was our 16-year-old years ago.
mhm.
Like he played before COVID, like 2 years.
That's crazy, man. How
Or
long?
a year, I guess it would be. No, it would be 2 years. Well, COVID year didn't count, right? And a bunch of guys were signed during then who, like Alex Braddock was signed during the COVID season, so he would
Mhm.
have played, but there was no games played.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think, eh?
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. Like how long that we've been now following this team and
Yep.
covering this team
And
and
then obviously you think about the career of like Patrick McManus, Gabe Piccolo, captain of a Sutherland Cup team. The last year they were in the Junior B, like they're quite the squad of boys.
I'll tell
Same
you
with
though,
Kale
man.
Kuvion. Won
Yeah.
a cup. They know how to win, man.
Yeah, it's been
But
nice too watching those guys over the past couple of years.
you know what, especially like Bugsy too. I saw Jack Sanko made a nice comment online today and was like, "Oh yeah, hashtag retire number 17."
Mhm.
Um, Carson Bugley has been like a big part of this franchise.
Steady Eddie.
Guess what? All his buddies play on Bell River.
Hmm.
Bugsy's here and he's stuck loyal to us. All those times you could have been like, yeah, I want to go play with Marco Schledoy. I want to go play with Trevor LaRue and all these guys. Stayed loyal with us when it comes to hockey. And he's been a big player
Yeah.
in the playoffs every year. Been a
Hmm.
big player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
See Ethan in the back, he's all good.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, you think about the goals Bugsy scored last year in the playoffs. That
Yeah.
one backhander on Porowski in Game 6,
He forced game seven.
he did. Well, him and Wyatt
Well,
Slochis.
I know, but I'm saying no, we
Wyatt
had to score a
Slochis'
goal
shoulders
too.
were a little bit lighter
Yeah.
after that night.
Yeah. But
And
yeah.
everyone who blocked shots, you think about Nolan McKibben and Luke Shirk in that last minute, Connor
Yeah.
Dubinsky, like they were laying out to block every shot. Kyle Walker was alone in the slot.
Yeah.
One of the deadliest sticks last year in the league. And Slochis just went,
Yeah.
no problem. Calm, cool, and collected.
Well, hopefully we can go on a run here, start strong, and
Yeah,
figure shit out. So that way we can finally get over. Well, I'm gonna say it. So we can finally get over the hump
it
here. You
better
know what I
happen.
mean? So
Yeah.
like, I'm not like saying
We
shit.
better
I'm
be
not
like
whatever. But
we
like,
better be
let's
like
go.
Philadelphia, eh? This year in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no shit.
For everyone who watched, that is
Just
the
an
biggest waxing I've
absolute
ever seen.
fucking routing of KC. So
At the half, I was just like, have mercy. Like, these guys are done.
mhm.
Mahomes was bye-bye. Like, oh, I served him right. And guess what? I only saw Taylor Swift like once. So
Yeah.
that was nice too.
Who was it in the NHL? We'll kind of shift over now. Who was it in the NHL who just got a 10 gamer for driving the Ottawa guy's head into the ice? Who was that again?
Oh, right off the draw.
Yes.
Who? What team did he play for?
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking it up right now. It was Stutzla, I believe, that got his head slammed into the
Was it
ice.
someone on Tampa? Who am I thinking of? Oh my gosh, dude. Why am I drawing a blank? Are you gonna find it?
It was Ryan Hartman.
Yes, okay, Minnesota.
So
That's who it was.
so
Hartman,
they so
yes.
they they gave him 10 games.
Yeah.
That's a lot of salary also to be, given up. Also, Hartman, I believe, is a repeat offender when it comes to being suspended, which I think is why
Yeah.
they
They
kind of
came down
threw
hard on him.
threw the book at him. But like why? Like
Yeah,
why?
and just
Like
the way he did it too looked like
it was
so
like a
intentional.
forearm on the back of his head, and
He
he
like
just
won the draw,
boom.
grabbed his stick, and like pinned him and went wham.
Yeah.
Like full weight of a guy who's like 200 pounds plus his gear on, smashing your face into the ice. No thanks.
Yeah, let me tell you. I know from experience here,
Yeah.
the ice doesn't move.
No.
Okay, so it fucking
But guess what? The human body is very malleable.
yeah, it is. Maybe
Yep,
not at my
it'll
age,
bend
but
and it'll bend and twist and
eh,
pop.
maybe not at my age, but but it's like yeah, I just thought it was fucking gutless, dude. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like that play, it's not even necessary.
No, it was like it was senseless.
Hmm.
Made no sense.
And also too, the Kachuk boys played against each other this past week too, and
Both
I
gonna be on Team USA, so
yes, one of them's going to be on the second line. I think one of them's on the third line.
I think Matt's the second line.
Yes. I believe you are correcto there. And also too, when Florida met Ottawa again, so the last time those two teams played, they had like a bunch of scraps.
Well, yeah,
The
dude, divisional rivals. That
the
could be a
brothers
playoff
were
matchup.
arguing, the brothers were arguing with each other. And it started out too where Brady opened the scoring at the 6:38 mark, so it was 1-0 Senators after the first period. Guess who tied it?
Maddie.
Matthew tied it, and then they went on to score four more times. So Ottawa got one, and then gave up five.
Yeah.
But
Well, the Red Wings are still holding
Wings,
firm.
yeah. So the Wings, they rattled off again another 7 game win streak, second one, um, under the new coach here. What do you think? Like, do you think they can maintain? Do you think they can keep this going? Now that we're headed into a break, maybe some guys that are nicked up, it gives them a little bit of a chance to recover.
I
Like, what?
don't
How do you
think
think's gonna like? What's gonna happen here on the back half here for the Wings?
it's going to be a very tough go, if I'm being honest.
Hmm.
So there was a calculated skill I saw today on Instagram of hardest remaining schedule. Guess who's number one?
Oh, probably Detroit. Doesn't
Oh
shock
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. We're number one.
Hmm. Fuck.
We've got the tightest amount or the most amount of games in the
Yeah.
least amount of weeks. Not only that, we played Dallas another two times. We got Florida another two times. We got Carolina like another time. It's like everyone we play in the last couple weeks are like 10th or above.
Yeah.
It's like we can't win. Now Washington as well,
Time to put on your big boy
but
pants.
yeah, this is where you prove it. And if they make the playoffs, you're going to be glad you played those teams heading into the playoffs because that's how you get a first round upset.
Yeah.
Like guess who was last, the easiest schedule.
Toronto.
Yep.
Shocker, eh? Go out west.
How
You got to
nice would it
change
be?
fucking
How
game
nice would
times
it
for them.
be if no, it'd be hard because Toronto would have to claim first if we're in the wild card. I don't think we're gonna get a divisional spot. Um, but that would be funny if we had to play them and we pulled off an upset.
Hmm.
Because that's the thing, it would get you ready for the playoffs.
Hmm.
You're playing good teams.
You're essentially going to be in playoff mode anyways because you have to be.
100%.
So,
100%.
and the thing is too is like, do you think we're going to get the goaltending down the stretch here? Do you think we're going to be active at the trade deadline? Like what? Like, because that's
Mm.
looming now, right? That's
So
going to
here's the
be
thing. I think we should make a move at the deadline as long as it doesn't hurt. Like we have so many pieces to give up,
Hmm.
prospects and picks, we can afford to do it now. It's now time we start taking those little incremental sacrifices to make quality trades. Like you think years ago to Tampa Bay, right? They were a young up and coming team. What did Eisman do? Boom, trade for JT Miller. He had to give up pieces that didn't feel too great to give up,
Hmm.
but it was worth it in the long run. They got a chance in the cup final. Obviously, they didn't win, but it's still that opportunity, right? So I think we should try and go for Dylan Cousins. That would be great. I think it's a very affordable deal. Like we can move out a contract that maybe we don't like,
Yeah.
i.e. an Andrew Kopp or a GT Comfer. Get a guy who's making 7.1, which could be a steal of a cap hit if he becomes a 30 goal scorer again and plays on your second line.
Hmm.
Especially since the cap's going to incrementally rise over the next 4 years by almost like 15 million. It's
What
crazy.
is what does he have left in his deal? Does he have time
I think
remaining
he's still got
still?
like 6 years left.
Oh, okay. So there's
Signed
lots
an
of time.
8 year deal. Like he is locked up.
Eiserman might be able to get. He's with the Sabres right now, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Eiserman can get them to retain a little salary, make it a little lighter on the books for the Red Wings.
Yeah, but then we'd have to give up more. I think what it is
So
for
throw
us
another draft pick or two. You
is
got fucking
giving
400.
giving away that Andrew Kopp contract is
Mhm.
going to free space for um Cousins, but not only that, we're going to have to give up stuff for them to take Kopp. He's not worth his money.
Mhm. So you would bring in a forward then, you're saying, is you would bring in would you
Yeah,
bring
I
in
like our
any
defense the way it is, and
okay.
I'll just additionally to that, my cousin sent me something the other day. He's a diehard Wings fan as well. Shout out, uh, cousin Brandon Gagne. But we
Mhm.
talk about the Wings all the time, and he showed me a video that had a hypothetical on if Axel Sundin Pellikka did what Kale McCarr did a few years ago and sign and then play in the playoffs. Which, if Sundin Pellikka comes over from Sweden, he's the
Mhm.
number one defenseman in the SHL right now
Yeah.
by like a mile. He is dominating. He leads his team in points, and he's a defenseman. Do you know how hard that is to do in the SHL, which is like one of the most defensive teams in the league or in the world?
Mhm. Yeah, it's fucked, dude. I
It's
just
insane.
want to I want to see playoff hockey. I miss playoff hockey, dude.
And I think Detroit would show up,
Mhm.
especially with our new arena venues, which have been voted to some of the best in the league.
How long's it been?
2016,
Jesus.
I remember that we got bounced by Tampa. That was the same year they went to the Cup final, right?
Mhm.
Right?
So it's
Was that
been
no? Was
9
that 20?
years.
Was that 2016? Did they play Chicago or was it LA? Who beat Tampa in
Oh,
the final? Chicago, right?
I think so. I believe it was.
2016 was
I don't
no,
know. Someone.
2016. No, it was 20. Sorry, 2016. Tampa did not make it to the finals. 2015 they did.
Mhm.
2016 was Pens, and then 2017 was Pens again. So
I was gonna say because me and Steph were having our stag and dough before we got married. The last time Detroit was in the playoffs because it was early April and they had to win that game to get into the playoffs, and that was the last time they were in.
2016 first round.
15, because I believe Steph and I were. Oh no, it was 16.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say because Tampa Bay played us and beat us in five, and Dylan Larkin scored his first goal then.
Yeah.
I remember I think it was from Zetterberg.
Mm-hmm.
Made a backhand drop pass, and Larkin walked in and ripped it under the bar. And Larkin going to be centering the fourth line on Team USA, so that tells you how stacked they are.
So was the last time we were in the playoffs? It was in Joe Louis Arena.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah, Little Caesars has never seen.
Never seen a playoff game.
No, because it was a couple of years later. I remember the last game at the Joe, and
Well,
Riley Sheehan scores two
yeah.
goals. His
And he
only
didn't
two goals
score
all
all
season.
season. Yeah. I remember that. And the crowd
Crazy
was
stuff. He was a
crazy.
Notre Dame hockey product.
Hmm.
First round bust, but anyway.
Wild.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's pretty much like playoffs. We can't really talk too much playoff format when it comes to the NHL. There's still
No,
tons of
there's still
hockey to
so much
play.
time left.
Is there kind of anything else that you wanted to chat about, or
Uh,
because we've hit PJHL,
oh,
we've
I
hit
did want to
formation.
mention earlier we were discussing the standings of
Yep.
PJHL. I want to
Hmm.
talk about that division, the West Yek. So the division that we would be playing if we
Yeah.
leave the Stobbs, their top four teams are separated by 3 points.
Jesus.
It goes Petrolia, Exeter, Mount Bridges, and Port Stanley. You think about how good playoffs is going to be in that division,
Oh, I know.
and who comes out of that? They're going to be gritty, man.
Be firing up the sim, watching some games. That's
We'll
what we're
see.
gonna
And
be
even
doing.
even their bottom, like, don't count out Thamesford Trojans or North Middlesex Stars. They've led their division the past couple of years. They're still above 500. Isn't that crazy? 6 teams are above 500 in the West Yak division.
Makes for an interesting playoff.
Everyone's beat everybody at some point in the regular season. So
Hmm.
it's not like one team's dominant.
Yeah, this year's a little different when it comes to the Peach.
Every division's like that, aside from obviously Alliston is running their division
Yeah.
handily.
Yeah.
Although Aurelia, I just saw today, Aurelia has 6 games to play in 8 days.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
4 in a row.
What did they have? Can't like cancellations or something that they have to make
They
up due to
must have. I
weather or
don't know.
something?
But they have a guy on their team named Jordan Fuller who's trying to chase 100 points right now. He's scary.
They said that he might not get it or something because he had to do something for work.
Right. That's also Facebook. So I don't know how much merit you can put into those
Yeah, no
comments, but
shit. I won't
we'll
say
see.
it,
We
but
love our
anyway.
Facebook people, by the way.
Yeah.
We're not
Well,
trying to scare with the Facebook
well,
crowd. Of
there's a
course, we
few.
love you
Meh.
guys
There's a
providing us
few.
with
Meh.
information.
Meh. I won't say it. You know who you are. But anyways. But I don't give a shit. Guess what? This is my platform.
Yeah.
um but yeah, so we're looking forward to a good year here in the playoffs. Hopefully Essex can make a run. It'd be nice, you know.
Hmm.
But like if they're gonna do it, and like I said, I'm not counting Lakeshore out. I'm not saying that anything's gonna be. So everybody calm the fuck down, okay? If Essex comes out of the West, I'm sorry, but you have to go through Lakeshore. They're the champs. Two out of 3 years. They won it last year. To me, it has to be through them. If you're gonna do it, it
Yeah.
has to be through them.
It's a
There's
rite of
there's
passage.
no other way.
No. And if you're like, people are really talking about Alliston Hornets and their record, they've kind of had a lot of trouble the past couple of years with, obviously, it was a much different roster, but Hanover
Yeah.
is like their big rival, which is from the division. Like, so they always win their division, but then they meet Hanover. So, like, if we were to meet the West Yak, if you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Hanover is the first like quarterfinal team that they would have to face, and Hanover's had their number the past few times they have met. So we'll see. Even in their division, like I said, that team that has a bunch of games made up to play, if they were to, I think, win out
Mhm.
or even drop one, they would match us for points. They
Another
just have
team.
they've been so far behind.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm always looking at freaking Alliston, obviously. Clarington, I tend to keep an eye on. Georgina Ice, I'll look at too.
yeah, Georgina,
Um,
they have a guy on their team. His name's like Uwuri Ukare or
yeah.
something. One sec, I'm gonna pull up his name. It's the craziest name I've ever heard. But oh my, is this guy like, he's barely played this year too. He's only played like half of the season. I don't know if he got hurt or what.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna pull up his name right now.
And
Yeah, he's
everybody
not even
too, they
not
have to like
here.
realize too.
Odaro Uwuri. He's only played 19 games this year, but he's got 18 goals and 35 points. So he's been cooking.
It's crazy what some of these kids can do, man.
Yeah, I know. And the one guy on their team, uh, Seth Urso Marzo or
Mhm.
Marzo, in 33 games he's got 55 points. So
Oh, wow.
Georgina Ice, they're a good club. But
Yeah.
73s, we're rocking and rolling, you know?
Just
Uh,
gotta keep it moving. Friday's a big test,
yeah.
especially it being the last game of the regular season too.
Oh yeah. It'll have a lot of mental
I'll tell you, if
impact on
they
that
can if they
final
can
series
pull
if it
out a win
happens.
on Friday
Hmm.
in Lakeshore, it'll be a nice high going into the playoffs.
Yep. Also,
So,
over these last two games, keep an eye out, 73's fans. We have this is one of the rarities in the league. I don't know if any other team has this. We have three potential 30 goal scorers this season.
Hmm.
Gouvermont, 29 goals. McManus, 28 goals. Piccolo, 27 goals. They got
Wow.
2 games left. Who do you think hits 30 out of those three?
Well, whoever has 29, I think, could probably get one on Tuesday night. That's Goovy, you said, right?
Gouvermont, yep.
And the thing is, though, is he's so tall and lanky that you just can't really get the puck from him. And it doesn't help that he's got sweet hands and a cannon for a shot
Oh
too.
my
So
gosh, his shot.
so yeah, it helps.
Rip.
But but yeah, I think it's gonna be him. Pick, I think if he gets two against Dresden, obviously he could get four against Dresden. We
He
don't know.
he
But
almost always
yes.
scores against Lakeshore.
Mhm. So
Like every game in my memory, minus that game seven, I can picture Piccolo scoring. Like he was pretty quiet last year in the playoffs until that finals. I
yeah.
remember he hadn't scored in a while, and that one goal he had, the
Yeah.
shorty, was like the monkey off the back for him. He was just
Mhm. Absolutely.
yeah, and he had
We'll
another
see.
goal like that a couple weeks ago versus Moortown with that wraparound
Hmm.
where he danced out of the corner and then slid around on his knees. Like, what a goal by that kid.
Only time will tell, man.
Yeah. He
Only
likes that
time.
wraparound. He likes that
Yeah,
wraparound. He's done it the
that's a
past couple of
fucking
weeks.
dangerous play, though, man. If someone
Yeah.
really wants you, they can smoke you
Yeah,
doing
but
that.
he kind of like drops down to a knee. You see that? Like
Mhm.
he'll really reach the stick out to wrap it around that post.
Yeah, but as the past
Like you
couple
said.
weeks, though, we've seen a couple sketchy hits that, you know what I mean, that would like in the playoff series, if you're routing
Yeah.
a team and he comes around the net like that.
Yeah, look out. Especially
Yeah.
like Blenheim. Blenheim
Yeah.
has been physical anytime they've played Essex.
Yeah, well, the Blenheim's got some big boys
The
too.
Graham
So
brothers, poor
yeah,
Flem. Flem got, I don't know if you
Flem,
watched Blenheim versus Essex. Poor Flem got trucked by Colton Graham.
yeah. Flem's
Um,
head landed in the third row.
Flem was good. He always gets up quick,
Yeah, he does. He's a rubber ball. He always
but
bounces back up.
it was
He
crazy.
gets fucking hammered though
And I know
sometimes.
every game, it's like everyone's just like, who are we going to target? How about their first pair right D? And they
Yeah,
just
like
come in
when
on the forecheck, and
sometimes he
poor
gets
Flem's like, why is it me?
hit. I'm like, get up, Flem. Get up, Flem. Like, you know what I? But
He's
it's
got to come
like,
on the show too.
yeah, we're gonna start to blasting out some interviews. I've already been kind of lining up a few guys too.
We need it.
Um,
We need it. We always say it, but
so
we're gonna
Sean
get him.
McMorrow, our good friend Sean
Yep.
McMorrow, is actually um working his way up to being an NHL referee now.
No way.
So we're gonna
That
have
would be
him on
awesome.
soon. We're gonna talk to him about his like journey so far doing that. I believe he said he's going to an OHL combine next year for OHL refs. So
Imagine him breaking up a fight.
he would be perfect though, because
He'd
he's
be
a big guy
terrifying.
and they're gonna respect him too, and he's gonna
He
know
is
what to
a
do. So
nail gun.
yeah,
Like probably the most jacked guy we've had on the show. No offense to anyone
yeah,
else.
he's chiseled that guy. But
Yeah,
yeah, so we're
McMorrow
gonna
and
get
his
him
brother
on.
too. His
Yeah,
brother's 7 feet tall.
yeah. Well, his brother was also a bodyguard for Drake, I believe, too. So big guy.
Yeah,
But we're
big
gonna get
cats.
him on for an update. We're gonna get a few of the 73s that we've been chatting with that we're gonna get them on for some interviews.
Hmm.
Also too, once I get this shoulder healed, I got a little bit of a shoulder injury going on right now. We're gonna shoot some content on that simulator now because that is
Ants on
done.
the IR.
So yeah, so I'm hoping to in rec league news, beer league news, I'm hoping to return on the 23rd is when is a
Oh, so
hopeful
you're
date.
you're week to week.
I'm week to week. I have to go back to the fracture clinic on the 18th.
Look out. They're
Um,
gonna put some iron in you. You'll be
Everything
better
is
than before.
still
Better,
like
faster, stronger.
so what it was, I'll explain to everybody. So I hurt my shoulder. So the AC joint in your shoulder, the normal gap in it, I believe is 0.3 centimeters. So mine, when I hurt my shoulder, it was 0.8. So it essentially it had
Oh,
just so it had opened right up is what it had done. So surgery
that.
was they
Mm,
were looking at surgery. It still does hurt. I have to go back on the 18th. So if nothing has changed with it on the 18th, then there's a good shot that I might have surgery, which will then put me out for the rest of the season, obviously, right? So
so is it possible it heals, but then you have like a shoulder that's lower or something, or?
how it if it does if it starts even if it starts to heal and that gap stays the same, they'll probably just go in and operate and then just get everything back to the way it is. I think they
Oh,
wanted to just wait a few weeks just to see what it would do if it would start to heal, and then if it
well, because
doesn't,
you're
they
still
kind of go from
relatively
there.
young.
Yeah, yeah, for the
Like
most
it's not
part.
like you're like 50 something years old trying to recover from a shoulder. Like,
Yeah. The only thing is though, is like at my age though, if I had shoulder surgery right now, it'd be a little bit of a grind to because you're looking probably what 4 to 6 weeks healing time probably,
easily.
and then you're probably looking what another. I looked it up. It was 4 to 6 months rehab on an AC joint surgery. So I'm
I could
hoping
never.
that I don't have to do that. If I do, then like let's just fucking do it and get it done here so I
Yeah,
can
you wanna quit beating around the bush, you
yeah,
know?
like at this point I'm just trying to at this point if it's gonna stay like this, I'm trying to save a golf season here. So you know what I'm saying? So
Dude, it's what if you got to reform your swing? What if you got to become a righty?
I am a righty.
I thought you don't golf left?
No, Drew's a lefty.
Oh, that's who it was.
Yeah,
I
Drew's a
remember someone in
lefty.
your group.
I'm a
Okay.
righty. But yeah, but it's like it doesn't feel good. I'll tell you that. So as
No,
soon as it happened, as soon as I hit the ice, I immediately like it was one of those things like I hit and I felt sick to my stomach. So it
that's
was
never
like
fun.
at first I thought my shoulder was out the way I went down. So it
Honestly,
was
that
like
probably would have been better because then they could pop it in, right?
yeah,
And
essentially this is kind of like it would the shoulder was probably on its way out and just took the AC joint before it got to
Mm.
because the AC joint, I believe there's a muscle that kind of wraps like around
Yeah,
your shoulder. So
right.
that's the muscle that is, if I move certain ways, like I still can't really lift stuff. I can't like push off of anything. My grip strength is there. That's what's weird. So the grip strength is there, but
Okay.
like I just can't like lift anything heavy or like to work over my head. Like my whole job at work is a lot of it is over my head. So
Hmm.
when I go like this,
It's
it
a lot of
hurts.
talking.
Yeah. So when I go like this, though, it hurts.
Just messing with you.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, man. I just don't want
I
to be in pain
understand, dude.
anymore. It's been what?
I wasn't trying to
No,
make
no. But it's been
light
like,
about the
I got
injury.
hurt on the 26th. So it's been
So
like
we're
2 weeks, dude. So I could be like, I got suspended too on that, but whatever. That's for another day. But whatever. Um,
not a big deal.
but yeah, so I'm hoping, and my team's in the playoffs right now, and like I'm not playing.
They gotta play without their number one point getter here.
So it's
It's like
like
Mr. 2 points per game. You're crushing everybody.
I'm not liking it right now at this point. So I was off
That'd
to
be
like
like if for everyone listening, it's like if you
I
took
know it's only beer league or whatever, but like I've been in this league for 8 years and it was probably the best offensive year that I've had so far, and then I got hurt.
you got nerfed, man.
So
It'd be
so it
like for
sucks.
everyone listening, it's like if you took McDavid away from the Oilers, is taking Ant away from his team.
And it's the what's the name of the team? Hattrick Hockey Red Wings.
Oh
So
yeah. I love it. I've got the shirt in my closet. I should have worn it today.
mhm.
Harrow Rec League, but
Maybe next year I'll grab you like an actual jersey. Like the actual jersey, like
wearing
with
the
the
drip.
HRHL, the wing logo,
Have
like
it flapping behind me
dude.
as I
We
my ankles
skated
clean
out
the ice.
we skated out onto the ice this year in those, and the first thing everybody said is, "Fuck, those are sharp."
Dude, and the way it bends with the wheel,
Yeah,
it's
like all the
nice.
letters and stuff.
Over
Yeah,
the wing
they're
and stuff, yeah.
nasty. We have the best jerseys in the league. I don't care what anybody says.
For sure.
Um,
For fun.
anything else there, brother? Or are you all?
I'm pretty much tapped. I'm just for everyone who's listening, well, I'm assuming this episode will be put out, but
Mhm,
always support 73s if you can in junior C and hockey in general.
mhm.
But 73s, we got those really, really good franchise players who are retiring this year. Uh, they're overagers and, as we like to call it, graduating players.
Yeah,
They're moving forward. I'm sure a couple of them. Patrick McManus has. Uh,
he should go to Tilbury and play after
well,
this.
I know Patty has a an agreement with the University of Windsor. I believe he's a call up for them.
Oh,
So he
okay.
practices with them every once in a while. I think if they need a 13 forward or something along those lines. So
But would he be eligible to play full time after this season
full time,
at the U if he was still attending?
I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay. Because if
Yeah,
not, I'd like to see
he's
him
in
at Tilbury.
human kinetics, and I think he would still have. Oh no, he's fourth year. Maybe you graduate. But most of the HK guys end up doing something else.
Hmm.
They end up doing some kind of an honors
Yeah,
in
because
kinesiology.
every year I get a couple messages from teams in that uh, what is it, the WOSHL or
Yeah, yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
They got the Alvinston Killer
Alvin's,
Bees.
I get messages from a few teams like, hey, right away, send me a list of your graduating players.
Yeah.
And
Well, because I know last year was Liam Hall, right? Had thought about it, and
last year they
you know
were
who
after
actually does play there?
Halsey. They were after Halsey, Dembo, Pels, Jake Fields. They were after all. They wanted like all of them. So what they do is essentially too, and it's smart if they're them because they look at Lakeshore, they look at Amherstburg, they look at Essex, and they grab all these graduating players, and it keeps them going too, right?
Big
So
time. Well, dude, that happened. Jason Duresh, our buddy of the show,
yeah,
went and played there. He plays there right now.
yeah.
Think about that. Team Lebanon legend, Mississauga Chargers, Leamington Flyer.
We should shoot out there and catch a game on a
Yeah,
Friday night.
100%. I'd love to. We could drive up with Duresh sometime and go watch him play in a game. Maybe mic him up.
Or I also have a car that we can, or a truck that we could just jump in and drive to Tilbury too.
I know, but I was just yeah, for sure. But Duresh
Also,
is
too, everybody, look for us too. We're going to be on the Windsor broadcast on Friday
yes,
as Windsor is in Saginaw. We talked about that on the front half of the
St.
show.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Let's go.
so St. Valentine's Day. So we'll be in studio. So look out for that. On that note, we're out of here. So we
Yeah.
will see you guys next week. Until then, for Brett, Tristan, myself, we're out of here. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Have a good one, everyone.
I've lost my fight with time. My number's up and up the line. I gaze at the darkness, so empty. Just looking for the light. Shout for help, but no one's there. Need a guiding hand, someone who cares. All alone in the darkness, I've realized for the first time I am scared. If I could do it all again, if I had one more chance, my friend, I would rewrite all my wrongs. I would find where I belong. I got lost along the way. I had so much more to say. If I could do